good thing about servitors is that they are your own creation, and therefore you can actually create them any way you want them to appear. So what they look like is completely up to you. But there are some things to bear in mind. When I was actually learning Kabbalah, I was taught that all the spirits, the angels, the archangels, Michael, Javriel, Uriel, they don't actually have a physical body. They are bodies of energy. So you can imagine a ball of energy, really. And the reason why people have gone and given all of these spirits bodies or physical appearances is because we relate better to something that we can actually associate with. So when it comes to servitors, a lot of people actually, they do give their servitors an actual physical form. I tend to just create a servitor as a ball of energy. And during the gestation period, the actual creation period, then what often happens is sometimes they stay a ball of energy, but other times they actually start forming into some kind of physical body. And it can be anything. The last one I created actually transformed into a phoenix. So when it comes to your servitors, as I say, you can create them any way you want them to look. But if you're going to give them bodies of famous people or superheroes or something like that, you need to bear in mind that they come with a particular character and association. And unless that character and association ties in exactly with the task of the servitor, then it might end up going in a slightly different direction than what you intended. So, just some things to bear in mind when you decide or try to decide what you want your servitor to actually look like. But even just using a ball of energy, if it's like if it's a servitor or an artificial elemental that has been created from fire, then it might be a red ball of energy. If it was created from water, it might be a blue ball of energy. But if you are going to create multiple servitors, then you might get slightly confused about which one is which, especially when they all appear together. Then you do know which one's which, obviously. There's a certain energy about each one that you can relate to, and you know which servitor is which. But you might want to just, for your own sake, just give it a form, give it an actual body that you see a phoenix, you know which servitor it is. You see a centaur, you know which servitor it is. So just something to bear in mind when you're actually doing the creation process. And as I mentioned, the creation or the formation, the transformation of a ball of energy into a body that you can relate to can happen at a later stage. It doesn't have to be decided right at the beginning. It can take on its own form. But when I say its own form, it's not it deciding what it wants to be. It's more of a development of your own psyche at the end of the day. So your servitor has a particular task that it needs to do, and as you are creating the servitor during the actual process of giving it energy and actually giving it its tasks and building it up, that gestation period, then you might start associating particular form with the task that it's actually intended to do. I find that when I decide I'm going to create a servitor and it's going to perform X, Y, and Z, during the process of the actual creation, that defined X, Y, and Z start to slightly morph a bit and start to develop a little bit more, because over time we think, okay, well, maybe we should have added this to it, maybe we should have done that to it. So it does morph. So you don't need to add those things to the task during the creation process, but those things do tend to start creating form and start to create a physical, well, it's not physical, it's still energy, but a body to the actual appearance of the servitor. So just let it happen in its natural way. Just like a baby, really. I mean, during the gestation period, we all look the same, right at the beginning when we're just divided cells. But as the fetus starts to develop and starts to form, then we all end up looking different. And it's very much the same thing. You know, you've decided you're going to create a servitor. You take it through that gestation period, and then you birth it at the end. But during that period, it might form into something that looks a little bit different to what all your other servitors look like. And even if it is a body of energy, I mean, you might have a ball of energy that takes a certain form to it instead of just a ball. Or it may be a red ball with blue streaks, or a yellow ball with purple sparks. Whatever, you know, it's really up to your imagination at the end of the day. But each one can and should really look different to all the others you create. And there are some people that would say that forming your servitors into the appearance of mythical beings, like Phoenix, like the Griffin, and things like that, shouldn't be done because there's a particular energy surrounding that form itself. I do disagree. You know, if I create, coming back to the last one I created, which formed into a phoenix. So there's an association with the phoenix which is ancient, thousands of years old maybe, and therefore it has a particular energy around it. But that energy comes into the actual formation, or into the actual task of the servitor. For instance, it developed into a phoenix because its tasks were associated with actually bringing me out of the fire, you know, a rebirth, you know, those types of associations. So the phoenix and what it represents actually became ideal for the form of the servitor that I was creating. It didn't start out with that intention, but as it was being created, I realized the associations that I was, or the task that it was actually set to do, had the same associations as the phoenix, you know, the association of the actual phoenix. So don't be particularly pedantic about it. Don't set your mind on a form or an appearance until it's actually been created. Even after its creation, if you still have a ball of energy and somewhere along the line it starts to develop into a form, that's fine. Let it grow. I mean, it's got to start somewhere, and then it grows, it builds. You keep feeding it, and through that feeding it will grow and grow and grow. It will become stronger, it will become more adept at the task that it was set to do, and therefore it will just keep growing. And as it grows, it may form into an appearance that is ideal for its association, for its tasks at hand. And just, you know, let it develop as it should, naturally. Don't be so fixed on what it should be and what it should do and what it should look like right at the beginning, because change is constant. We can't decide on something now and just leave it that way for the rest of our lives. We have to flow with the current, and we have to adapt, and we have to change, and we have to morph ourselves, and therefore our servitors, our own creations, are also going to change. They're going to adapt, and they're going to morph. So I just wanted to cover that. That's just a short one for today. I am going to finish this Servitor series here. If there are any topics that I haven't discussed that you are particularly interested in, that I may not have thought about, and then just let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to cover them. I'll add them to my to-do list. I will be asking for your help to actually come up with different topics, things that you're interested in hearing about, that you would want me to talk about on this channel. And that's it for this week. I hope you have a brilliant weekend, and I will see you next week. Have a good one. Cheers.